Welcome back, adventurers. Got your hats ready? You're going to need them, because this week we're taking the sleek new Cure 55 out for a spin on the open water. This Aussie-built beauty is lightweight carbon fibre performance catamaran, and trust us, it's turning heads all over the sailing world. But the question is, does she live up to the hype? Join us as we hoist the sails, feel the wind and put the cat to the test. Let's find out what she's really made of. So kick off your shoes and come barefoot with us. We are John and Ellie, the Barefoot Doctors, sailing and travelling around the globe. Join us as we explore the beauty of the world, because life is better barefoot. Well, today is another exciting episode, but this time we're flying 1,000 kilometres to check out the brand new Cure 55 and give it a test sail. We've been hearing some pretty bold numbers being thrown around when it comes to speed, so naturally we had to see it for ourselves. Now, this is a light, high-performance boat, so she should be fast. But how fast? How jittery, how noisy will the sail be? Especially when the pace picks up a bit. But this yacht is Australian built and bred for serious sailing. Let's find out if it really lives up to all that hype. Well, right now the wind is light, but it is expected to build up later. Perfect conditions to get a proper feel for what the Cure 55 can really do. So don't forget to subscribe, ding the notification bell so you won't miss out on all these upcoming exciting episodes. As we ease off the dock, the Cure 55 shows off her agility, effortlessly spinning on her axis and gliding through the tight channel like she was built for it. Even with 11 people on board, she doesn't feel crowded. This boat just seems to absorb it all. From the spacious saloons and well-appointed galley to the massive cockpit, thanks to an impressive 8-metre beam, it all just works. And for the off-grid sailors amongst us, here's a big win. The Cure 55 offers up to 5 kilowatts of solar. Power is always at a premium out on the water, and this setup gives you ample. Heading out into open water, anticipation builds, and one standout feature we love, all the halyards are neatly tucked inside the mast and under the decks. It keeps the lines protected from the elements and our feet safe from tripping hazards.
Okay, so we are very excited today because we are sailing on the Cure 55, the brand new #1, first ever launched Cure 55 boat, and this has spectacular performance, so we've been told. So today we will share it with you guys and we will see what it really does under sail.
So a few episodes ago you saw us do a tour and talk to Ed, who was telling us all the ins and outs of the boat and all the great features and everything. And so this time we've lined up a sea trial, so we're going out and we're going to have a little sail. It's about 23 knots of wind, so we should get a little bit of wind in the sails to see how she goes, so yeah. Pretty excited.
And there are a few little white horses happening now, and they're doing something.
Sounds like the sails might be going up.
I'm hearing winches, Let's go!
Right, we better go. Then comes the moment of truth. We hoist the sails, keeping a reef in. So at the moment they're putting the jib up. So at the moment we're cruising pretty smoothly. I mean, it's there's a few white tops out there. She's cruising pretty good. Instantly the Cure 55 comes alive. She leaps forward, hitting 13 knots before we even touch the trim. With a few tweaks, she rockets up to 16.8 knots. And it's not just the speed. It's the smooth, effortless motion cutting through the water at this pace. You'd hardly know we were sailing upwind. Yes, upwind, with an apparent wind angle of around 50 degrees. Not quite hard on the wind, but still slicing high and fast. This boat is built for performance, and it shows. We are screaming along.
We've got 19 knots.
So we're doing 19 knots right now. She's very stable. One thing that really surprises us is how dry the ride is. Thanks to the large trampolines, long bow overhangs, and the mast being set further aft. There's barely any water making its way onto the decks, even when we're pushing speed. The high bridge deck also does a great job of reducing that classic catamaran slapping sound under the wing. It's quiet, smooth and comfortable. Okay, so we're down in the front cabin. Come down to have a feel of the motion and to listen to it. Well, we're doing 19 knots, probably 20 knots by now. I'll just be quiet so you can hear. So this is in the cupboard area, so you're not going to be down there anyway, trying to sleep or anything. So there's a bit of noise you can hear coming through the hulls of the water swooshing past the hulls. But in the actual cabin, as you come back, it's really quite stable. For 20 knots, comfortable bed, you would easily be able to sleep here and get a good night's sleep. It's quite amazing. Very impressed. Let's go and have a look at the stern. This is the bathroom area. And if you were standing having a shower, let's just pretend we're having a shower, you could still very easily have a shower at this pace, and it feels quite stable. So this is the aft cabin, and sit on the bed. Don't mind me, Amy and Terry sitting on the bed. It's very stable. You know, I sort of expected it to be more bouncier because it's such a lightweight boat, but it's actually not. Have a look at how fast we're going. So this is the view from the window in the cabin. We are just racing along. Check this out for speed. Now I'm going to hold this on the floor so you can see how stable it is.
Been sailing this boat by yourself. How fast have you sailed her?
Oh, Well, actually, at this stage, we've only got it up to 13 knots.
Yeah.
And that was just for the head sail.
So you sail at 13 knots with the head sail only?
Yeah.
In what, 20 knots of wind you were saying?
Yeah, it was probably 20, like this, probably 24 knots.
Right.
We're punching into it too.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Family didn't like it, turned around and we headed back in.
And that's because you had nobody else on board to help?
We actually had our Christmas party on board.
Okay,
that day, you
okay.
know, so we
lots of people.
Yeah, 15 to 20 people, and yeah, it was a bit too rough for them. So, fun for us, but
Yeah. But that's spectacular. 13 knots with the jib only. Amazing. Good stuff, thanks. Fall backwards as the acceleration kicks in. Beautiful. Nice sailing.
So one thing I've really noticed is there's no slapping under the bridge deck, which is so good. You know, we've been going 16, 19 knots and still no slapping. I only heard slapping once, and that was when we were actually doing a tack. So, pretty amazing.
80 degrees right there. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great things about constrictors are that you can open them under load. You never get that issue with the clutch handle where you can't force it over the top. So you can slip them under load. They are very, very good at taking care of the line as well, because you're essentially just using an outer casing of a rope here. So the idea being like a Chinese finger trap. Chinese finger trap where you stick your finger in each side and you can't get your finger out again. Same idea here. So this casing is pulled down by a bungee, and then it's retracted like this. And you can see that rope sprung as I pulled it up.
So it's like shaped basically, you're just going to
yeah, exactly right. So we've got a few adjustments to do here, but the idea here is that once these are adjusted properly, the ball will sit like this when the clutch is shut, and when it's up and over like this, it will be open.
As the day went on, the wind began to build, gusting up to 28, even 29 knots. Unfortunately, that's beyond the safe range for flying the Code Zero or an asymmetric spinnaker, which would have made things even spicier. So we dropped the main to the second reef and carried on with the full jib. What you're seeing here is footage from another day, lighter winds, full sail, and the Cure 55 still powering along beautifully. 2 reefs on the jib, and we're doing 10 or 11 knots in 16 knots of wind. And it's easy, really easy sailing, getting good speeds without any effort. No stress on the boat, very comfortable. What do you reckon?
I reckon it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Lots of pluses.
Right now I'm on the helm, and what really stands out is just how effortless she is to steer. There's virtually no pressure on the wheel. She tracks beautifully and is incredibly responsive. You also have a clear line of sight both to the main and jib and forward along the side decks. And honestly, you can steer her with just 2 fingers. She goes exactly where you want her to, no wrestling and no drama. Even with my hands off the wheel, she holds her line perfectly. Her tracking is that good. Also at this point we're sailing in 23 knots of true wind with an apparent wind angle of just 36 degrees, so still going upwind, and we're doing 14.2 knots of boat speed. And here's the best part. It feels totally relaxed. The autopilot could easily handle it. With performance like this, you'd be knocking down fast passages without sacrificing comfort or peace of mind. Even at these speeds, the decks are calm, easy to move around, and you could comfortably live aboard, cook, clean, read, or work on your computer while sailing like this and at high speed. That's rare. But, as always, all good things must come to an end. So we drop the sails, ease back into the harbour, and put this little beauty back to bed.
Cure 55, what do you think?
Look, it was amazing actually. The sailing was absolutely spectacular. Sailing upwind at those speeds, even with the second reef in the main and the full jib, we were sailing upwind at 13, 14 knots and at one stage at 17 and 19 knots. That was just incredible. Like, how can you go that fast upwind? It just...
Oh, catamarans aren't supposed to go that fast upwind.
Well, I believe people say catamarans don't sail upwind, do they? It was disappointing that we couldn't put up the whites or the spinnakers under code 55, because that would have got us to wind speed. But of course, as the wind picked up to 29 knots, we had to reef the main. So that was disappointing for me, because I really wanted to see how it went with the bigger sails. But the performance of this boat is absolutely amazing. You could feel it accelerating. You'd do a tack or you'd pull in the sails for the first time, and you could feel the boat accelerating. The decks were very dry. The swell was only probably half a meter. It was not a wet ride like you'd normally have on a fast boat. Normally you get so much spray coming off the bow, it wets you in the cockpits. What did you think of the noise, honey?
There was very little. It was quite amazing how quiet it was, because light boat, carbon, and my expectations were exceeded, because it was a lot quieter. It was certainly not bouncy like other performance catamarans, and you could get a good sleep while you were doing 19, 20 knots at least. It really was quite astounding.
But it does really live up to its expectations, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Fast catamarans, you can always slow them down. You don't have to always go at 20 knots.
Yeah.
So that was a really good thing. So, you know, once you get a feel for it, you can modify the sails to suit yourself.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was thinking of is, as we're sailing along there in 23 or so knots, again upwind, we had 2 reefs in the main, and that was when I was steering the boat with 1 finger of each hand. And you let go the wheel and it doesn't veer off course, it kind of still goes along, and then you just have to trim it a little bit according to the waves. The auto helm will handle that fine, and it's safe. Like, it's easy and safe. You could put the auto helm on, go and have your lunch, work on the computer, just incredibly stable and easy, and going so fast, like 12 to 15 knots without any instability for the people inside.
The other thing that I really like was the no slamming on the bridge deck. The bridge deck is high, and that's on purpose, and it really does. I only heard slamming once, and that was when we were actually, doing a maneuver. So I was really impressed.
And one of the other features that's nice is that the Versa helm, you can have it outboard so you're outside looking up at the sail, but equally you can turn it inboard so you're protected from the sun and the wind. So that is an added feature that's very nice on the Q55. And also the line constrictors seem to be a really good a way of controlling your sheets without having the problem of cleats that typically will lock when you're there under heavy load. So that looks like a really fantastic system.
I had a bit of a giggle because I was watching Ed in the galley area with a couple that were on board as well, looking at different placements for different things. And they were chatting away, and we were going like 19 knots, and they were chatting away and they were walking from this point to another point, and they were doing it just as though they would have been on land. It was quite funny because they weren't even toppling or stagger or anything like that. It's quite funny. So it's a very stable boat.
So the Q55, absolutely fantastic boat. We really enjoyed that sail, so thank you very much to Cure and to Ed for inviting us. And this is such a spectacular boat. If you ever get a chance to sail on one, or if you're looking for that kind of high performance boat that has the capacity to carry you around the world in comfort and at speed and with safety, then that is certainly a great option for you. This is a marvelous boat and has all the features that you need for a long-term cruising boat for world circumnavigation.
So congratulations to Cure 55. We thought it was awesome.
And all the best Terry and Amy who own the boat, and thanks very much to them for letting us come on board their boat.
So guys, that's it from us. All the best.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and thanks to our awesome Patreons whose money helps us save lives around the world. Please make sure you subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss out on any of the exciting upcoming episodes. Hold on to your dreams because like the wind in the sails, they propel you towards endless possibilities.